So hey guys, what's up? We just got back from the dentist. Phoenix had to get a tooth yanked. It's for braces. No decay, just for braces. She needs to make some more room. And it's a long story. Who cares anyway? It's boring. She did well. She took the shot. She handled it. She had to go beast mode on it, but she got it done. So hey, anyway, I got a new friend on Facebook. I got back on Facebook. Very reluctant to do it. Already been aggravated a couple times because the Zuck, he sucks. Kinda, the way I just feel like Facebook is so intrusive into my life. They aggravate the blank out of me and they drive me nuts. However, because I get to share my videos on YouTube, I start getting a lot of comments and I start wanting to make friends with you guys. And I figured, you know what? On Facebook, they'll let me start a group, a small group, where you guys who watch my videos and comment regularly could come on if you're interested to share me your progress tapes, clips, set up videos, a video message or something like that. I mean, either do it on Instagram. If you use Facebook, find me on Facebook. My name's Roman Vaughn. The page I started was Prodigal Sons OG Skaters. And that brings me to the reason why I have the camera set up right now. There's a handful of you guys who've been starting to email me clips. And so that's why I started the group. I'm not trying to blow this group up or get it big or anything. I think honestly, this group is better to be kept small, where we could share videos back and forth. And I kind of like to actually keep it private and be able to have, people come on there and want to be part of this small group of OG skater guys. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's the plan for it. It's not private yet because nobody's joining it anyway, right? There's not much going on in there, but I think we've got 2 OG dudes and me. So I'm going to put a link in the bottom of this video. Once we get a few of the regular viewers of my channel in there, then I'm going to make it private. Just send a message and tell me, hey, I watch the channel. I want to be in this group, if that's the case. But yeah, the point of this video is the channel name, Prodigal Son. I really always kind of love the story of the prodigal son. And I understood it a little differently than a lot of people, right? My understanding of the prodigal son was it wasn't so much necessarily about the prodigal son as it was about the older brother. If you remember, the story is the younger brother leaves his house, his family, he goes out into the world. Okay, so here's the definition. Prodigal son, a person who spends money in a recklessly extravagant way. A person who leaves home and behaves recklessly, but later makes a repentant turn back or return. I very much so sort of followed the life of the prodigal son compared to my brother. My brother still lives in the same town we went to high school in. He's doing the same job. I actually trained him in the job he's doing. He's in the same job, in the same town, married the high school sweetheart, has the 3 kids, making tons of money, made consistent money, and he's never blown it in life too much, right? There's always some little things where you blow it, but this video is not about him. This video is about me. I've done the opposite. I've soared. I've been on TV. I've made lots of money. I've dive bombed. I've been divorced. I've gone up. I've gone down. There's been a lot of hills and valleys in my life. Very prodigal son. And early on, about the time after my first divorce, when I started getting my first tattoos, people think, hey, you know what? I was crazy young. No, I wasn't. I didn't smoke any herb or anything like that until over 28 years old. After my first divorce, I got off on the shoulder a little more, so to speak. And but not too far either. That's all I ever did. I never had any other drug habits or anything like that. But Prodigal Son, I very much lived up to that. I actually have it tattooed across my shoulder blades, but it was sort of because of the way I interpreted the meaning of those verses from a biblical mindset. The prodigal son was not lukewarm. He was hot or cold. And I know God said in the Bible, I think it's Revelations 3:16, God said he'd rather you be hot or cold than to be lukewarm. And I think that's the connection I made with wanting to get the tattoo on my back. You know, like I clearly wanted to go. I mean, when I got into something, I got into it deeply. It didn't matter what it was. And I got into it so much that the love I would share for something was almost intoxicating to other people I was around. And then they would end up wanting to get into it too. It's sort of always been that way my whole life. And it's sort of infectious the way I can share just this fire I get for something, you know? And I know it was like that even with some of my friends, like the girlfriends kind of didn't really dig me because, you know, I was, come on, let's go do something or whatever. But, you know, very, very hot or cold about things. I was never really lukewarm. And I think that's the real attraction I had. Like, I know a lot of artists sing songs about the prodigal son. I know Bad Religion, probably my favorite, all-time favorite band. And, you know, it seems like he takes a pretty negative opinion of the prodigal son. And I totally can see that side of it, you know. He's not the one you can count on. You know, he may not be the one that you can count on, but he's the one that would give you the shirt off his back, even if it was the last shirt he had. I started to understand consciousness equals light. So when you read in the Bible, Jesus is the light of the world. Jesus, consciousness, that's the light of the world, right? We're all lit by consciousness. Someone asked me once to define God. And I thought of it like a thick exercise ball, opaque, solid black. Inside this exercise ball is the brightest light you can imagine in the world. Inside this exercise ball. So when you look at the exercise ball, all you see is a dark, thickly colored black ball. But now, if you took a pin or a nail or whatever, and you poked 7-8 billion holes in this gigantic exercise ball, this piercing light would come out of all the holes, right? So in my defining God to somebody, if like I'm trying to get them to understand how I take it, the people are the holes. The light inside the ball is consciousness. So right here, what connects me to you is that consciousness, you know, as above, so below, like we're looking in a mirror, like we are one. The Bible goes heavy into this, we're one, you know? And I believe that's our consciousness, you know? And it says that stay of the light and not the darkness, and to keep it positive and try to keep yourself inside the tracks, so to speak. So somehow down the line, I changed son from son, child, carbon, to sun, light, right? Consciousness, the prodigal son, like having this not lukewarm, but having a consciousness that's on fire. And then the story of the prodigal son, he returns home. So to me, how that relates to skateboarding is I went out, I started out a skater. I got into surfing, dove in head first. All right. I got into snowboarding after that, dove in head first, moved to the mountains. 25 years goes by. I had that skateboard in the garage, you know, and maybe I took it down to the mailbox and back, but that was it. I didn't skate it, you know, like not really, not to go out and skate. And then I come back to it, right? Like boom, like pierced eyes, focus. boom, I want to be a skater again, you know? And to a lot of people, they might look at that like, you're a poser, dude. You're a kook. You know, you quit skateboarding. How could you ever quit something so good, you know? Like, so good. But maybe he's lukewarm about it. Maybe he just skates and he goes and does his thing. I'm on fire, man. Like, I bring the passion to skateboarding. And I think, you know, some of you guys who follow the channel, your consciousness is connecting with mine and we're able to feed off each other, you know? That's part of the reason I wanted to start that little Facebook group that, you know, a few of us can get in there and become closer friends and we can feed on that fire and just get it and get aggro, right? Like hot or cold. Don't be lukewarm about it. And don't be so judgmental, you know, because in that story, the older brother, the not prodigal son, you know, he was probably an ass, you know. If that prodigal son would have returned home and bumped into his brother first, and his brother would have said, dude, you're a loser, get out of here, you know. But instead he bumps into the dad first, and the dad celebrates. He celebrates him in forgiveness, you know. I'm just glad you're home. I love you. This is agape, right? God's love. Like, you don't have to earn it. So to me, prodigal son is a OG skater return. You return to skateboarding, the love of your life, and feel the fire again. Get on it and charge it, right? Prodigal sons, prodigal sons. That's why it's plural. That's why I tagged on all my thumbnails. I have prodigal sons plural because it's all of us. As far as I'm concerned, it's the stars in the sky, man. As above, so below, man. We look up, we're looking at ourselves. We're stars. We're just like 50. We're like 30, 40, 50, right? We're OGs. Prodigal sons, prodigal sons. Actually, the first shirt, we got a shirt coming out. We got a logo. We got a hat. Can you guys see the logo? I can see the first hand-drawn logo. I don't know if you can see that. But my wife's here. Let me get back to you. I gotta go. Let me check out. I'll see you guys later in the next video. Disasters tomorrow.